Today, we are going to recap what I'm seeing working for my clients as far as fertility supplements go. If you are someone that has 10 bottles on the counter, you're not sure if they're working, you don't feel any different, and you're wondering what's the best way to go as far as supplementing to improve your fertility, I'm going to tell you exactly what I've seen and what is working for my clients. Let's get right to it. Welcome to the Fruitful Fertility Co. podcast, your holistic, faith-filled, no-fluff guide to getting pregnant naturally. I'm your host and TTC BFF, Tori Black, here to pull you out of your weariness and cheer you into God's calling to be a mother, all while giving you the simple, bite-sized steps to improve your fertility. Let's trade stress and overwhelm for hope, because girl, you look fertile to me. All right, guys, almost exactly 1 year ago today, I was sitting right here with this same wonderful person, Jena Tomer, and we did an episode talking about Rise and Source and why we were both loving it. And at the time we recorded that episode, I knew on paper that Rise and Source sounded really good. And if you are someone who has listened to this podcast, you've heard me say those words over and over again. Maybe you've added these supplements to cart and never checked out. This episode is for you because you're going to want to go ahead and hit that button because now we come with receipts. We have pictures, we have screenshots, and I have some statistics that are going to blow your mind. So, first of all, I want y'all to welcome back Jena. For those who didn't hear the first episode, and guys, the first episode was episode 91, if you want to go back and listen to that one. But, Jena, tell everybody a little bit about yourself before we dive in this and why you are the expert on why these amazing products work so well.
Thank you so much for the introduction. And I can't believe it's almost been a year already since our last podcast. So thank you guys for being here. I'm from Southern Maryland. I've been in holistic and functional medicine for 9 years and graduated as a nurse all the way back in 2009 and went right into ER and trauma and ICU. Went back for my nurse practitioner, then to bridge to my doctorate. And my plan was to open my own practice, but that quickly changed when my health, my children's health, all of us started to have these little hurdles. I slowly just fell in love with the functional and the holistic side of things. And my husband and I were diagnosed with Lyme disease and mold illness, and we were very, very sick in the beginning of 2021. We got that diagnosis, but 2020 was a very hard year. I was diagnosed with Graves' disease and POTS, Lyme disease, Bartonella, Babesia, and my transgrowth beta factor in my brain was like through the roof, which shows neuroinflammation. And so I went on this path and this journey, already was helping people with their health for years at that point. And I hired the best of the best doctors in the United States for Lyme disease. I went to the GemSet clinic in DC. I hired functional medicine doctors. I did bioenergetic scans. I did all kinds of things. And I learned so much from these professionals, but unfortunately was hemorrhaging money. I even was doing IV infusions. So I was doing Myers cocktail with glutathione and a methylated B12 injection. So if you add up everything I spent in 4 years for my husband and I for protocols, it was over $215,000. And unfortunately, we were still feeling absolutely awful as far as no energy, debilitating brain fog to where I actually felt like I was in a dream with that neuroinflammation. And in April of 2024, a friend said, I know you and your husband are suffering. And we didn't publicly post that, but people knew behind the scenes. And she said, you have to try this. And I said, send it my way. And I looked at it. I said, I'm taking 30 supplements a day. I already take most of this. She goes, trust me, you need to try it. Plus, you're going to save so much money and it tastes great. And I was like, you know what? I do have pill fatigue. I'm really tired of taking all these capsules, all these pills. I definitely had medical trauma. There was a lot of hospitalizations in there, spinal taps to figure out, is there Lyme in my cerebral spinal fluid? Does she have MS? Lots of MRIs. There was a lot of trauma there, you guys. So I was like, you know what? I will just buy this dang stuff because she told me. And, it came to my door and we tried it. And my husband felt it in 15 minutes. He said, do you feel that? And I said, what? He said, I feel like a light switch went on. For me, it was in 30. And since just this last episode that we did, we've now helped over 13,523 people with their health as of this morning. So that's just in the last year. So that's really exciting. And that
Yeah.
when people run out of this, they freak out for good reason. So we're going to obviously talk about fertility today. And it has been literally the biggest blessing. And this is my favorite thing now to talk about with Tori because my favorite thing in the world is being a mom. Like there's nothing better. And so when I hear women struggling, I have never known what to tell them. And now, thanks to Tori, we have some really exciting things to share today. So I'll
Yes.
pass it back to you.
Yes. You said the thing you just said there, like, I'll just buy the dang stuff. And I think that needs to be the motto. Just buy the dang stuff, you know? Like,
Uh-huh.
just, you're going to have all these reasons why you don't want to try it. Like you said, like, you were already taking a lot of the ingredients. You don't understand the frequencies, whatever. But it really is, I feel like I've been saying that to people. I'm like, just buy it.
Hmm.
Just buy it. Just try it. But for
Just
those
try it.
of you that are thinking about trying it and you need a little more, you need to know you're not getting scammed. Let's get to the truth of it. We're trying to figure out if we're getting scammed, right? And that's what I did when I found Jenna. I found her on Instagram and her reels were really intriguing to me. And I was thinking, this girl's crazy. There's no way these two products can be that good because, like Jenna said, I was looking at the ingredients. I'm always reading labels. And so I read the labels and I'm like, yeah, yeah, I like it, but there's nothing groundbreaking here besides the frequency component, which Jenna's going to talk about in a minute. And I was basically messaging Jenna and asking her all these questions. And I remember specifically, very as kindly as I could, basically saying, my women need something that works. I cannot suggest something that we don't know if it's going to work. My women have been trying for a long time. They've spent a lot of money on other things. I need to know that it's going to work, which of course Jenna could not guarantee me that, but Jenna could say, just try it. That's all she said to me. She's like, just try it. You can get worst case scenario, you get your money back, but you need to try it for yourself. And so I finally did. I quit being skeptical and I said, I'm just going to buy the dang stuff. I'm just going to try it. And at the time, I was having about a 24-day cycle. I was always spotting before my period, which I knew was low progesterone. And I knew doing what I do that my low progesterone was coming from nervous system dysregulation and a mineral imbalance. And
Mhm.
now knowing everything I do, I was kind of checking all the boxes and I didn't really take supplements because to be honest, before I found Rise and Source, I was kind of anti-supplements. I feel like it's a place where people spend a lot of money or they waste a lot of money. Let me put it that way. They waste a lot of money. The nutrient like density within supplements is typically not high enough to make a difference, and that's one thing people don't know. But I was just I wanted to give my people something else. I didn't want a supplement to be this catalyst. But after taking it for about 2 months, my pre-period spotting stopped. My periods lengthened back out to 28 days. I did not feel overstimulated anymore. And Jenna even talks about how like her husband felt it in 15 minutes. She felt it in 30 minutes. Even after I had ordered it and I saw, like I had heard this story, I was still skeptical. I was still like, no, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. So if you're someone that's like rolling your eyes, just know I rolled my eyes too. And yet here I am making yet another podcast about this. But um, I didn't have that instant 15, 30 minute reaction like Jenna did, but I did in a week's time, I could tell. It was like this very calm, it's weird to say calm energy, but I was not as tired. I was not as overstimulated. And I really did. I remember turning around in my kitchen one day and thinking, I don't feel the same. I feel different. I feel calm. I'm not yelling at my sweet kids just for being loud. Like I wasn't so irritated, is really the best way I can describe it. And I was like, this is something because I tell my people all the time, you have to give something 90 days to see a change. So for me to see a change in a week, people like Jenna to see a change in 30 minutes. And I don't even know if I would still believe Jenna or not if I hadn't had a client who said the exact same thing. I had a client, I did a 30-day challenge. So I tried it, I loved it. And I was like, still not convinced, guys. You cannot, if you are listening to this, you cannot be more skeptical than me. My period was better. I haven't had PMS symptoms since. I still was not ready to be like, okay, this is it, guys. This is what you need. But I did a 30-day challenge with some of my clients or just people in my audience. put them in a little focus group. I told them I actually paid them. I said, if you will take these products for 30 days, minimum 30 days, and report back to me how you're feeling, I will pay you $50. I will reimburse you $50 is what I did to give them motivation to stay consistent, to order and stay consistent with it. The one woman in that focus group said that she felt like she could hear colors. She said I had to double check the label because I didn't know what kind of mushrooms you had sent me. She was like, she was like, I instantly felt dialed in. And I was like, okay, that's it. And then at the end of that focus group, I think it was the next month, one of the girls was pregnant. And I
Mhm.
was like, okay, this is something. So all this was adding up. And then me and Jenna were talking about this. I was getting just an influx of messages, like message after message after message on Instagram of people sending me um, positive pregnancy tests. And I kept sending them to Jenna and I was like, this is getting ridiculous. Like something is happening. This is snowballing. And so I went back into the back office. So with Frequence, you'll have an account. You can, if you're an affiliate like I am, you can go in your back office. You can see all your numbers. And I pulled everybody that has ever shopped with me that was trying to get pregnant. I pulled all the numbers and I found that of everybody who ordered any amount, period, 1 month, 10 months, whatever, just black and white, yes or no, people that became pregnant was 29%. 29%, which the crazy thing about that number is it's the exact number of the success rate for IVF.
Yeah, insane.
Insane. So I want you to consider the cost of IVF, what you have to go through, the shots, the medication. It doesn't support your health. It may help you get pregnant in the right circumstance, but it doesn't overall improve anything. This is a supplement that has the exact same success rate for a fraction of the price and a fraction of the, I don't want to call it trauma because that sounds dramatic, but the shots, the invasive procedures,
A lot.
all of it.
Yeah,
So
it's a lot. That's a
that
lot.
was wild to me. Now, that's not even the best statistic. The next one was I was like, okay, because I say all the time, you got to give something 90 days. If you didn't give it 90 days, you can't say it didn't work. That's
Hmm.
my motto. For women that ordered 3 months or more, the success rate was 40%.
Wow.
40%. So now at 40%, that's really more than IVF and IUI put together, or right about the same mark. For women that ordered 5 months, a minimum of 5 months, the success rate was 57%. 57%, guys. Now, if we were making conclusions based on these numbers alone, and these are just mine. So again, this is not a report Frequent sent me. This is not something Jenna sent me. This is not a study I found on the internet somewhere. This is my own people just like you, people who listen to this podcast. These are my numbers. So that means using these numbers, if I want to make a conclusion based off these numbers, at 57%, you are more likely to get pregnant after 5 months of taking Rise and Source than you are to not get pregnant, which
So
is just that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. And so these numbers just floored me and I was like really just in awe because I knew, like I said at the beginning of this episode, I knew the science was there. I knew the opportunity was there. But I needed proof, like you who are listening, you want proof. And when I looked at these numbers, I was truly in shock and just amazed because part of me is like, well, how did I even stumble upon Jenna's page? Because like as you heard her story, Lyme, mold, none of that's my story. I have no reason to be pulled in by that. I'm probably pulled in because Jenna always looks cute. If you follow her on Instagram, you'll find that she has the cutest outfits and makes you want to shop at this place called the Alley Cat. But there was no reason for me to feel so connected to what she was sharing because she was not saying, "Hey, these are fertility supplements. These are hormone balancing supplements." It was not even the same ballpark. And so I feel like it's only God that I found Jenna and felt so pulled to follow her and keep asking her questions. So I could go on and on about how pumped I am about these numbers, but I hope that you will let those sink into you. And I hope that you will. Jen is going to follow up now, so I hope that you will listen to why these work. So now I've presented you the receipts, the proof that I have seen over the last year or two. And I want Jenna to come in and tell you why they work. So you may be like, yeah, that's all great and well. And if you're kind of like me and Jenna and you like the science, you like the facts, you like the receipts, Jenna's going to go over why these work the way they do.
Thank you so much. And that is just incredible. Those statistics are jaw dropping. And it was definitely God. God gets the glory on this because he
Mhm.
knew that women would need you, Tori.
Mhm.
And it's just so humbling that I'm even here on this podcast, or that he let me go through years of suffering for it to be a positive impact for the amount of people that it has been. And so the first thing I need you to know about me is I'm a real crunchy nerd, guys. So
Mhm.
what that means is I'm not going to put some supplement in my body that has not been third party tested and I don't know everything about it. Some people are like, do you ask the waiter what where that cow was sourced from at a restaurant before you eat it? And they like joke around about this. I totally understand that. But for people that go, I need to check with my doctor before I take a supplement, people make jokes. They're like, well, do you ask the waiter where your
Mhm.
steak is from? And I get that perspective, but I just want you to know about me. I knew that a lot of people came to me for medical advice and for health advice, and I was not going to put my name with a company unless I knew everything about it. And so, first and foremost, we manufacture every one of our products in a center in Melissa, Texas. We own our own manufacturing, and that is a GMP, USP certified, FDA approved facility. And so that's really important for you all to understand. We have kosher products coming through there that have been approved by Hayal. They're non-GMO, gluten-free, soy-free, um, vegan, and then this is organic. This is our Rise. And what makes our product so different is that we're the world's first and only frequency 2 nutritional supplement line. So when God spoke the world into existence, that's a frequency. Everything has a frequency. And for years, doctors have been addressing biology and chemistry, but ignoring physics. And our bodies are just as much electrical as they are chemical. And so what we're doing is we're finally able to fill in those vitamin, mineral, and nutrient gaps because, like Tori said, so many people are taking supplements, and I definitely was one of them, and your body wasn't absorbing them. Like it's not getting anything out of it, whether it's your body not recognizing it or it's just the quality of the supplement in general. And so this right here is a powder. And this is going to just be a scoop that you take like this. I want you guys to understand how easy this is. You're just going to put this in water and stir it up. It tastes like an Arnold Palmer with a hint of peach. That was the first thing Tori told me. This tastes good.
Mhm.
She likes to have it in the afternoon. She still has her coffee in the morning. She likes to have this. I know her schedule. She likes to have it. And it does taste great. And we have flavor drops sometimes, but our flagship flavor is a mango lemonade. So think Arnold Palmer, hint of peach kind. It's very refreshing,
Mhm.
really good. So 7 organic mushrooms in here, methylated B vitamins, amino acids, and nootropics with the 11 harmonic frequencies that are going to realign your 8 major organ systems. This is incredible for hormone balance, flushing out the liver, helping with cortisol levels. It's adaptogenic, so it's meeting the body where it needs to be met, whether it needs to help with a hormone in like whether it's low or high. It's helping to balance
Mhm.
out the thyroid. So we're supporting the thyroid, the immune system, helping to flush and detox the liver, helping to support overall health. And the organic mushrooms, they have a lot of different vitamins in themselves. Like the actual mushroom contains so many vitamins. So this is a nutritional supplement. The amino acids and the nootropics that are in here, think amazing for mood and memory and concentration and that clean, calm energy. So this is like best friend for me, mom of 3 kids, 3 dogs, running a global business in 17 countries. This is my best friend. I went from barely being able to function and get out of bed to like bring it on like Donkey Kong. Like, what are we doing? And so this quickly became a best friend. And then I added in the source, and this is organically sourced from the Rocky Mountains, you guys. It does not have a taste and it goes right into your Rise. So it's 2 full droppers of source into your Rise. And Tori, I know you have your own program, so you would be working with these people on, on their results and their dosing, but that's what we do. 2 full droppers into your Rise. And this is 72 minerals in here, trace minerals, and all of your electrolytes. And once again, We might be taking minerals, but are you absorbing them? Probably not, because the frequencies on here are so powerful. My eyebrows started growing in and my eyelashes. I was like, I didn't even know I needed this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden I was like, my eyelashes are longer. I like this. Like, that's just a funny example of what's happening in my body. So, at a cellular level, these are really working to support the body and to fuel the body. And, like, just fun fact, like the fulvic minerals themselves, just so you understand, like, it's helping the body naturally produce more glutathione. What does that mean? Okay, your body's naturally detoxing. And if you have a lot of toxins in your body and you're trying to get pregnant, that's not going to be good for you and baby. So, if we are taking this as you're trying to get pregnant, and before you actually get pregnant, we're pulling out heavy metals and mold and candida and microplastics, microplastics, microplastics. We're pulling those out of your body, and it's really a gentle detox, and we're filling in the mineral gaps, you and baby. That's just a much better environment for the baby, for the formation of the placenta, for everything, and for growth. I mean, Tori's the expert on that. Let me not go down some rabbit hole I don't know about, but I'm not an OB. I never worked in labor and delivery. Never did NICU. So whenever someone comes to me and they're talking about like their gestational age and all, I'm like, guys, like not my specialty, but what I can tell you is this makes me feel amazing. My dad, who's 74, who has suffered with autoimmune issues for the last 35 years, this makes him feel amazing. My mom, who has suffered with autoimmune issues since she was 19 years old, this makes her feel amazing. This is really, as my friend Dr. Kalina says, the only supplement where you can be like, this is a one size fits all. We all, male, female, young, old, should be taking this because we're filling in vitamin, mineral, and nutrient gaps. You can always get your money back. There's a 30-day money back guarantee. But you guys, this right here changed my whole life, and it makes my job a joy. I got a text about an hour ago, and it was from a customer. And all it said is, when can I buy more? And I said to my husband, I said, gosh, it is such a breath of fresh air that those are the texts that come in from customers. Not, am I supposed to feel this way? Or I don't really like this or that. How do I buy more? When can I buy more? Because they feel such a drastic difference in their health. So I can't emphasize that enough. Not only does it help with fertility, but you're going to be giving you and your baby such a gift because of filling in those vitamin, mineral, and nutrient gaps. That's huge in detoxing as well.
Yeah, I love that. She touched on so many things there. And like Jenna said, it's going to help with hormone balance. It's going to help with your gut. It's going to help with your thyroid. And when we're dealing with unexplained infertility, there's so many roads you can go down. There's so many rabbit holes you can go down. And you think, oh, maybe it is my thyroid, or maybe it is my gut, or maybe it is my hormones, or, and you can just, they all feel like different silos, but they're
Yeah.
not. And you guys have heard me say this 5,000 times, but your fertility is a reflection of your foundational health. And so that was another reason why I knew these products were going to be good and going to be beneficial for people specifically dealing with unexplained infertility. Because you're in your mind, you're thinking, okay, all my labs look good. And maybe you even heard, Jenna's list at the beginning of all things you were suffering with. And you're like, okay, but I'm not suffering with any of those. I was not either. I was relatively healthy. And so this is one of those, it almost makes me angry that is it an all side or one size fits all, because I've always been like, no, everybody needs something different. But the one thing every single person needs is nervous system regulation and minerals. And that's exactly what these products give you. So Jenna was naming all the ingredients and all the different ways they influence the body and the systems, but that is what you're getting. You're getting nervous system regulation. You're getting minerals to fill those gaps, like she was talking about. And when it comes to fertility, like that's exactly what you need. And so if you want to quit guessing, you want to quit with the pill fatigue, you're like Jenna was saying, you're tired of taking 20 capsules a day, not feeling any different. This is your next step. This is the next thing to try. We have the percentages, the statistics to show that. We have the science, we have the proof. And even like Jenna was saying, we have all the certifications. That was one thing that really impressed me too, because I was like, okay, found Jenna on the internet. This is just a woman on the internet. I like the science, but are they going to be quality ingredients? Are they going to be, third party tested? Because that's really important to me too. I'm the same way. Anytime someone comes in my DMs and they're like, what do you think about this supplement? The first thing I do is go look at the ingredients and look to see if they're third party tested. So when they also checked all those boxes, It's like, okay, all right, we're on to something. But you can kind of see here from Jennifer's results, from my results, from my clients' results over the last 2 years that this is something special. And when you break it down, it's only $4 a day. And Jenna says this all the time, like, if I'm going to big sister you, I know you're spending that on coffee. I know you're spending that on food. I know you're spending it on Amazon. So why not try this? Why not use that $4 a day on this that could be something that's absolutely life changing? And I truly believe that. I say that with so much conviction because I have watched it unfold right in front of my eyes. Because I used to be like, oh, I don't know, I don't want them to try this and this not work, but I have just seen too much now and I just can't ignore the numbers. And so if you are here, you're listening to this podcast and you're like, okay, I'm all in, especially since there's no risk and there's that 30-day money back guarantee, there is a link in the show notes and I want you to grab that. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. You can also reach out to Jenna. We're both on Instagram. I'll have her handle linked down in the show notes as well. But we are here to support you and ready for you to join our Frequence family. Jenna, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much. And I'm so excited for the amount of Frequency babies that are already on the way. And
Yes.
there's going to be more. So I would just urge you guys, maybe you're listening to this just out of curiosity and you're not struggling, but you know someone who is, share this with them. It could be such a gift. You don't know what someone is going through. And by hitting a share button, you have the ability to share hope with someone who can't afford IVF, who can't afford IUI, or maybe they've already tried it and they
Mm.
just feel so broken. Or maybe it's not within their moral code. Maybe there's some reason that they're like, I don't want to do that. You could be such a gift to somebody. Please don't take it lightly that you stumbled upon this podcast. And I just thank you for listening. And Tori, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thanks for being here, Jenna. This was so good. We love you guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for hanging out with me today. If this episode touched your heart or taught you something, I'd be honored if you share it with a friend who could use the information too. And if you want to be the real MVP, then would you also take 30 seconds to tap those 5 stars at the bottom and leave a written review telling me what you're loving? It lights me up to know this podcast is really helping you. Don't forget, you're super cute and super fertile, so meet me back here next week and let's keep chatting and learning together.